Hello, boys and girls. Greg here from the Scary Spirits podcast again. And I'm going to show you how to make another cocktail. Today, we are going to be making the excellent Eyelashes cocktail, which is the featured cocktail in today's episode. Okay. We're going to start a mixing glass with ice. To that, bourbon, 1.5 ounces, Kentucky bourbon, next, maraschino liqueur, expensive stuff, boys and girls. Going to add 1/2 ounce maraschino liqueur. Next, ginger liqueur. Trust me, this is ginger liqueur. The words on the tape say ginger liqueur. We're going to add 1/2 ounce of ginger liqueur. Very good. Next, we need lime juice from the plastic lime, boys and girls. 1/2 ounce. There we go. And bitters. 2 dashes of bitters. Like so. Next, we stir. All right, I think that's good. Then we take our rocks glass. We strain over ice in a rocks glass. Finally, boys and girls, we take our ginger beer. And we're going to top off the glass with the ginger beer. And there you have it. The excellent Eyelashes cocktail. Smells good. A little bourbony. Not bad. Definitely bourbony. Do get the ginger. And a hint of the maraschino cherry liqueur. Alright. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoy the podcast. See ya.
Episode number 53 of the Scary Spirits podcast, Dracula's Daughter, causes quite the rift between Greg and myself. And it all revolves around eyelashes. Yeah, I said it. Eyelashes. Greg insists that Countess Zaleska's eyelashes are no big deal. Nothing out of the ordinary. I, on the other hand, am so impressed and distracted by them that I chose the excellent Eyelashes cocktail as our theme drink this week. I mean, I definitely have some eyelash envy going on. No matter where you side on the great eyelash debate, I think we can all agree, if you've got 'em, flaunt 'em. Cheers.
Welcome to the Scary Spirits Podcast. Please be advised that the presenters may use adult language and/or discuss adult situations. This podcast is not intended for younger listeners or those that may be easily offended. So, if you're ready, let's go.
Hi, I'm Greg,
Hey, I'm Karen.
and welcome to the Scary Spirits Podcast, the podcast that combines the two very different but highly compatible worlds of scary films and alcoholic spirits.
What could possibly go wrong?
Indeed. How are you, Karen?
I'm doing great. How are you, Greg?
Karen, I'm excellent.
Ooh. Is there any particular reason?
Well, spring is sprung.
Has it?
Yeah.
I
The
guess it
birds
has.
are singing. My black flowers have sprouted indoors, ready to be
Excellent.
transplanted around Mother's Day. You know how that works. And there's warm weather ahead, Karen. And plus, we just got through Easter and Earth Day, and Walpurgisnacht is right around the corner, Karen, in a few days.
Hey, well, I can see why you're excellent then.
Indeed. All right, Karen, our last episode was our very super duper special anniversary show, correct?
Our extravaganza.
Yes. I've returned my tux. Are you keeping your gown? Was that a rental or what?
Oh, no. It's at the cleaners now.
Yeah, that's
It got a little crazy that night,
yes. The after show parties were a little crazy.
off the hook. Do they still say that? Do they still say off the hook?
I don't know, Karen.
Probably
You're-
not, but
You're turning to me for
for coolness.
current lingo. And so I believe this week's movie was your choice, was it not, Karen?
It was.
Episode 53.
Starting off the new year with a bang.
What film have you chosen for us, Karen?
I've chosen the 1936 film Dracula's Daughter.
1936, eh?
Yes.
Okay. Any reason you chose this film?
Yeah, there is a reason actually. It's kind of a roundabout reason, but Anne Rice is one of my favorite authors. I'm sure our listener knows who Anne Rice is, and she passed away on December 11th, 2021, which still doesn't have anything to do with this yet, but I followed her on social media. And when she passed away, her son Christopher took over the accounts and has been posting in her absence. And fairly recently, the Oscars were on, and there was a lot going on during that Oscars, but there was an in memoriam, and Christopher was a bit put out that they didn't include Anne in that.
Yes. I remember
So he just wrote a little bit on social media about how much she loved movies, and he only named one movie by title, and it was Dracula's Daughter, as having a huge influence on her writing. So I thought, well, I'd like to check that out and see what that's all about. So that's why I chose it.
Interesting.
It's supposed to be the sequel to Dracula, but it came out, what was it, 5 years later or something?
Yeah, that sounds right. I think Dracula was out in 31.
So it wasn't a quick sequel.
No. Okay. Do we have a cocktail for this film, Karen?
We do.
Go on.
It's called the Excellent Eyelashes Cocktail. and it's-
Excellent eyelashes.
Yes. From
I like-
Cocktail Builder.
Kind of like how I'm excellent, right?
Kind of like how you're excellent.
Yeah,
Yes.
how I was saying I was excellent. Yeah, I'm excellent today, Karen.
Oh, geez, I already forgot. Oh, this is a little potent little drink here.
All right, so I guess you don't really care how I am. Is that what you're saying?
Well, not out loud.
All right, the excellent eyelash. Any reason you chose this cocktail, Karen?
Well, I was looking for something unique because we've done a lot of,
Tried to tie it into the movie somehow, I assume.
well, yes, we always do, but we've done a lot of vampire movies. So I wanted to go in a different direction than a blood cocktail or,
Karen,
yes.
why have we done a lot of vampire movies?
Because vampires are cool.
Oh, okay. I had forgotten. Go on.
See, you don't care how I feel either then. So this movie, when I watched it, and I watched a trailer first, but it is basically a 70-minute advertisement for mascara and false eyelashes. You may not have noticed it, but I did. So that's why the Dracula's daughter has quite some eyelashes on her.
Well, of course, I knew what the drink was going into watching the film, Karen. So I tried to pay attention to the eyelashes and I didn't really see it. So,
Really?
yeah.
I thought I found it almost distracting. So
I may bring it up later.
Well, okay. So we'll just throw it out there to our listener. Are you team eyelashes or not? You can email us at info@scaryspirits.com. I found it almost distracting.
Really?
With the shadows from the lashes on her eyes.
Okay.
I mean, I didn't think it looked bad. I don't want to say that.
No.
I thought it really added to the look of her character. I liked it. I'm not saying it was bad. I don't want to, imply that.
No. Karen, how do we make the cocktail?
You're going to combine 1.5 ounces of bourbon, 1/2 ounce of maraschino liqueur, 1/2 ounce of ginger liqueur, 1/2 ounce of lime juice, 2 dashes of bitters in a mixing glass, and stir it with ice. And then it says double strain into a rocks glass with ice and finish with ginger beer. Full disclosure, I strained it once.
Me too.
I don't know why.
I didn't see the point.
I didn't get it.
Because there's nothing in there that's going to
clog up anything.
Right. Yeah.
But if anyone knows that, I don't know if it's a dilution thing or what, but if anybody knows that, let us know. I'm not a bartender, so I don't know why you would need to do that.
I'm not either. I only play one on the internet, Karen.
Yes, you do. And if you'd like to see any of our drinks made by a pretend bartender, tune into our YouTube channel. Greg makes them every week. You can follow right along.
Every Wednesday.
Same
time the new episodes drop, the YouTube video drops as well. And you can watch me make drinks.
What could possibly go wrong?
I know. It's very exciting, Karen.
It's riveting. Riveting YouTube.
Should we give our listener time to make their own excellent eyelashes, Karen?
Absolutely.
All right, hold on. And we're back.
Yes, we are.
All right, Karen, might you have a brief synopsis of this film you have chosen for us to enjoy this week, Karen?
I do.
Well, please read us a story.
Dracula's daughter. Although Count Dracula was destroyed by Van Helsing, who is now being tried for his murder, Dracula's daughter, the Countess Zaleska, is still alive, and her father's death has brought her no closer to eradicating her vampiric thirst for blood. When attempts to free herself of the disease fail, she turns to psychiatrist Dr. Garth for assistance, but soon finds herself struggling with the desire to make him one of the undead as well.
Yes. Thank you, Karen, for that brief and accurate synopsis, I would say. Except that for some reason in this film, they changed Van Helsing to Von Helsing.
Oh, really?
Yes. I don't know why, but they did.
I didn't notice that. I guess I just assumed it was the other. Way to notice the details, Greg.
I still call him Van Helsing the whole time.
So do I.
So, but his character in the credits and everything is Von Helsing. And it is played by the same actor who played Van Helsing in
that's
1931
weird.
Dracula.
Why did they? Well, okay, whatever. It's
Who
fine.
knows? Well, I don't know.
Was it copyright or something?
I don't know. I could hypothesize. The only one of the differences I can think of is that Dracula was a pre-code film. This is a post-code film. So I don't know.
But what's offensive about his name?
I don't know. 39, maybe. I don't know. Or 36, right?
Yeah.
Well, World War II hadn't started yet, but I don't know. I can't think. I don't know. No idea. If anyone
knows.
Yes, you can email us at info@scaryspirits.com and enlighten us with your Van Helsing knowledge.
We definitely need enlightening.
All right, Karen, are you ready to get into it?
Let's do it.
Okay. Did you watch It's on Amazon Prime, Karen?
I did, and it was a bit pricey.
It was pricey.
It's
almost like they
$5.99.
know. It's almost like they know what we're going to do.
I'm starting to get a little paranoid about that.
So full disclosure, we record these early. So we are a few weeks early than this drops, but someone in the silent and pre-code group on Facebook posted a picture from this film today.
Really?
Yes. I'm like, what the hell? It's like people know what we're doing, Karen. Freaking me out, man. All right. Dracula's Daughter from 1936. Rated NR, Karen. It's the first thing that came on my screen. Did you see anything different?
No.
No warnings about smoking or lesbianism or anything like that?
Nope.
Okay. And then we see credits, Karen. And in the credits, it says, based on a work by Bram Stoker.
Do you know anything about the work?
I do, Karen.
Ooh. Awesome.
So apparently there was a chapter that was cut from Bram Stoker's Dracula, and it was later released as a short story, and it was called Dracula's Guest. Supposedly this film was based on it, but in the research I've done, it has nothing to do with it. So, but that's where they started when they started writing for this film, was this short story called Dracula's Guest, and somehow it turns into Dracula's Daughter. I don't know.
Do you know anything about why she's his daughter? Is she just made by him, or is she... I didn't glean anything from watching the movie, any information about that. So I was wondering if I missed something.
Well, there is a part where she talks about
her mother.
Yes.
That would make her half and half. And I didn't know how she came into existence. She doesn't really say.
Did not either.
But she's full vampire.
Apparently.
Yeah. Okay. Well, yes, I'm not questioning it. I'm just, yes, she's full vampire. So I think she was probably turned, not born.
Okay. So the film starts. It tries to start, Karen, at the end of the 1931 Dracula, correct? That's where it tries to start.
Why are you saying it tries to start? It looks like the same
things
set.
don't line up. They don't know. Things don't line up.
Okay.
So for one thing, I watched the ending of Dracula today too, to compare.
Ooh, look at you.
I know, right? And it's not the same set. Okay. It's very similar, but it's not the same. It
looks close. Yeah.
It's close. There's because it's stairs and it's in the catacombs of a castle, it looks like, right? But it's not nearly as grandiose as the stairs in Dracula.
Okay.
And in Dracula, at the end, when Dracula kills Renfield and he rolls down the steps, he falls off to the left. It's kind of like a spiral steps, right? He falls off to the left.
There's no banister. I remember
There's no
that.
banister. No, he falls off to the left. In this film, he is at the bottom.
He's at the bottom of the steps. Yeah.
That's
where they have to step over him
yes.
Almost. Yeah. Okay.
In the original Dracula, Van Helsing destroys the lid to Dracula's casket.
Okay, I know that didn't happen in this.
before he like puts the stake through him, because I think he uses part of the lid as a stake, right?
Okay.
But in the original Dracula, Van Helsing does stay behind for some unknown reason, which I believe we talked about when we talked about Dracula. Why in the hell did he say, "You guys go along, I'm going to stay"? And
We
it's
did
never
talk about
revealed
that.
why he stays, right? So that part is consistent, but the rest is not. So basically, this film opens and we see two cops and they discover the body of Renfield. They say his neck is broken, right?
Yes.
And then we see Dracula with a stake through his heart. I did make a note. It's a pretty good dummy of Bela Lugosi. And it looks a lot like him.
At first I said, is that Bella? And then it looked like a wax dummy or something. It was good. It looked like him.
It looked like they took a cast of his face for whatever reason and reuse it for this, right? They probably had it. And basically one of the cops is just there for comic relief. Right?
One's afraid and one is not.
Yes.
Basically.
And they take Van Helsing to Scotland Yard, right? Because he pretty much says he killed him.
He's standing over the body and he admits to killing him. And he tells them it's Count Dracula. And one of the cops asks, how long has he been dead? And Van Helsing says, about 500 years. They arrest him.
They think he's a nut. Take him to Scotland Yard to Commissioner Basil Humphrey. And then we see Van Helsing telling the commissioner about vampires, which is basically, this is a way to get us caught up on the story of Dracula if no one saw the original film. If you're seeing this one first, this is the way they catch you up on what happened, right?
Yes, he recounts the lore, how Dracula came to England with his native soil looking for fresh victims. But I noticed he didn't mention any of the players. Like he didn't mention Mina or Lucy or Harker or anybody.
No.
But the commissioner is pretty funny. He says he's heard some crazy stories in his time, but this one tops them all because I'm sure he's heard some tall tales.
Yes. Basically, the commissioner tells Van Helsing that he has two choices. The commissioner does. He can either charge him with murder and send him to the gallows or have him committed to an institution for the criminally insane. But Van Helsing says he wants this psychiatrist, Jeffrey, what's his last name? You said it in the synopsis. Garth. Jeffrey Garth, too.
I mean, Van Helsing just flat out tells the truth. He's a vampire. I went in there, I killed him. He's not trying to.
Yes, you should be thanking me.
And the commissioner thinks he's nuts and says a jury is never going to believe you. You need to change this story. It's ridiculous. And Van Helsing is sticking to it because it's the truth.
And at one point, then at the end, the commissioner does make a phone call or gets a phone call and he tells them to, they call and the guy comes in and says, they're calling what to do with the bodies. And the commissioner says, what bodies? And so it's basically the body of Dracula and Renfield. And the commissioner orders them guarded 24/7 until the train comes at 10 p.m. to pick them up.
Yes.
So next we cut to the jail where the cops who discovered Renfield's body and Dracula's body and Van Helsing are now guarding the bodies of Dracula and Renfield. But they hear a noise coming from inside the cell or storage area where they are.
And again, there's a scared cop and a not scared cop.
Yes, and they go in to investigate with a flashlight. We see something burrowing underground, Karen.
Yeah, they say it's a rat. Do rats burrow like that?
I don't think so.
It's like, I don't think they need to be afraid of a mole.
No.
That's what it looked like.
And then the other cop goes in and he kind of sees the same thing, only more bigger.
Yeah, I thought something was going to
come up to the ground.
Yeah, but that just led nowhere.
But he says, I'm out of here. And he says, I'm going to go meet the train. And he can because he's got stripes on his arm and the other guy doesn't, basically. Right?
Pretty
he's
much.
The boss. Next, a woman enters, cloaked in black with only her eyes showing, Karen.
She's a lovely lady.
She has pretty eyes.
That's because she has wonderful eyelashes. But her face is half covered. Yes.
Yeah. Her eyes are prettier than her face. I'll say that. And she hypnotizes the cop, basically. Right?
Well, she's come to see, she tells him she's come to see the body of Dracula, Count Dracula. And the cop's uncomfortable, says you can't see him. He asks, why do you want to see him? And she says, I have to make sure he's dead. And the cop says she has to take his word for it. And then orders is orders. And she asks, what can I do to persuade you? Money.
Money.
Or
He says,
something.
I wish you wouldn't, Mom.
Or something more precious than money. Which,
Look at this ring.
yes, shows him the ring. And he is,
Hypnotized.
yep. So why do you think she's covering half her face? I didn't quite get
Oh no.
why she was doing that.
I don't know.
We don't see vampiric teeth on her or anything. So
At no point do we. No.
no, so I didn't understand.
No idea.
But anyway, he stares at the ring and
And it is nighttime. It's like 9:30 or something.
yeah, they show the clock. And
Yeah.
an hour later, basically an hour later, the other cop returns.
Yeah, we see the clock and it moves forward an hour, and the man comes to pick up the bodies, but Dracula's bodies is missing,
Yeah, and the one cop that got hypnotized is still hypnotized.
still
he's
sitting there
he's just sitting there staring
in a
at the
trance.
desk.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and we hear a wolf howl.
Yes. And we see Froggy's fog.
Yes, and who we learn her name is Marya, Dracula's daughter, Marya. She is burning Dracula's body in the Froggy's fog.
Well, she's burning it in a fire, but there's fog all around. Yes.
there is. And she places a cross on the body. And when she picks it up, she shields her face from it.
Right. But
She's still fucking holding it, right?
in her bare hand.
Right.
Yes.
Okay.
It's pretty cool. Besides that minor technical detail, which is obvious, she's reciting some, I don't know, spell or incantation or something, and she's throwing salt on and the fire's impressive. It's like ballooning up, and
Yeah, it's
you
like
know,
a funeral pyre, Karen.
it is a funeral pyre. Yes. So she's trying to cast out the evil spirit until the end of time. It's a pretty cool scene.
And she's hoping that she will be released from her curse once Dracula's dead. That's why she wants to be sure he's dead.
Yes. So in some lore, if you kill the vampire that made the vampires, those vampires,
In the Lost Boys, Karen,
well, they're released, but apparently she's already,
you have to kill the head vampire. And
yeah. So you
Yes.
would think he would be the head vampire. So she's thinking along Lost Boys lore, but it
Yes.
doesn't do her any good.
No, it doesn't. And she has an assistant too, named Sandor.
Xander, yeah, Xandar.
Sandor. And he doesn't
He's-
buy it. He
He's a
knows
fun
what's-
sponge.
Yeah, he knows that. Okay, you're going to turn tonight, so we'll see. You're going to turn again. next.
She says, I'm free. And he
yeah,
says,
we'll see.
he says, perhaps.
Not likely.
And he's a looker, this Xandar guy. He's a creepy looking dude.
Oh, he has the silent film makeup. What I would.
Is
call
that
it.
what it is?
That's what I call it. I don't
And the
know.
plastered down hair and
Yeah.
just the whole gig. Yeah.
But next we're at Brooks Bookshop, and the camera pans up from the bookstore, and we see Marya and Sandor again. And Marya thinks the spell is broken. Sandor ain't so sure, just like we said. And he watches her to see if she turns. And Marya begins playing the piano and reminiscing about her childhood.
She's very happy. She thinks this is it. She's released. She's going to be normal. Everything's going to be wonderful. She starts playing the piano. And what does Xandar do?
The music she's playing is not happy music. Sandor points out it's evil music. She is still evil.
He continues to rain on her parade. Everything she says, this music, he says, the music is evil. I used to what did she say? Something about dogs when she was young. And he said,
And
those
just
were
the
wolves.
howling.
Yeah. But then she says, what do you see in my eyes? What do you see in my eyes?
Evil.
He says death.
Death. Yeah, death. That's what he says.
So he's not buying it.
He's not, Mr. Happy.
No. He gives her the cloak and the ring. He knows.
Yeah, he knows. Here, go out and do your thing.
Yeah.
So next we see Marya standing in the shadows on the streets of London. Very similar to Werewolf of London, I think, Karen. I think they use the same set.
Yeah, could be.
And she is wearing her black cape and ring. And she stops a man as he is about to light a Marlboro, Karen.
A dapper gentleman.
Yes. And she shows him her ring, and then everything goes fuzzy. And I wrote, I'm pretty sure he gone.
I said she uses the ring in her eyelashes to hypnotize him.
Next, we see Marya back at the house.
Yes, you're right. We don't see anything. We don't even see her lean towards his neck or
nothing.
Any of that.
Nothing. And she says, hurry, it's almost daylight, to her assistant. And she gives Sandor her ring and says, oh, there's blood on it again. Sorry, clean this shit up. And she gets in her coffin and closes the lid. Next, we see medical examiners, right? Kind of like in like the medical college, the old timey medical college thing.
Yeah, almost in an amphitheater.
Yeah. And they're looking at the body of the man, and they're trying to figure out why he has 2 sharp punctures in his jugular vein.
Again, they're in pure white. Nobody's got any blood or anything on them. Although at first I didn't realize this was the dead man that they had brought in. I just thought it was a patient. But they said the cause of death is an unnatural loss of blood. So we've talked about before how much blood's in the human body and stuff. How much blood, what percent of blood do you think you have to lose before you die?
It's a good question, Karen. I'm going to go 30%. I'm going to go in the low end and say 30%.
That's not bad. So if you lose more than 40% of your blood, you will die. It's about half a gallon of blood in an average adult.
Half a gallon?
Mm-hmm. That's 40% of your blood.
I know we talked about this earlier, but I'm still shocked.
It's important to get to a hospital to start receiving blood transfusions.
That ain't a lot, Karen. Half a gallon?
To prevent this. No, it's not. That's why if you puncture a major artery or vein, you bleed out quickly.
Good to know.
There you go.
Half a gallon. Wow. Next, Karen, we see men. They're going on a pheasant hunt, I believe.
They say grouse, but I don't know what grouse is.
Yeah, grouse. Whatever.
Is that pheasant?
They're birds. They're bird hunting. And they're joking about shooting women. Is that what I'm hearing? In London?
I thought it was a fox hunt at first because they had the dogs out and everything. And then I just wrote sexist jokes abound about shooting birds with no feathers.
But then Janet arrives, Karen, and tells
She
who
does.
we learn is Jeffrey. Jeffrey, what's his last name again?
Garth.
I never call him by his last name. I call him Jeffrey the whole time. So
You can
from
just
now
call
on,
him Jeffrey.
I will call him Jeffrey. Dr. Jeffrey tells Jeffrey that he must go back to London to help Van Helsing.
She says you have to go back to London. He says he has an appointment with several grouse. She says he has an appointment with Scotland Yard.
And when he learns it's Van Helsing,
Yes. And they have an interesting dynamic. They're very sort of antagonistic with each other, but in a loving kind of way.
Janet and Jeffrey?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Although he looks old enough to be her father to me. I don't know what their age difference is, but
yes. When I saw Janet, I immediately I had their names written on a piece of paper here so I could keep track of who was who. And when I saw Janet, I immediately put 3 stars by her name.
There you go. Plus she has money.
Does she?
Yeah, she's an heiress.
Oh, I didn't catch that part. She is driving a nice car, Karen.
Yes, she is. It's a convertible.
It's a 1933 Alvis Speed 20.
Well, yeah, of course.
Did you recognize that vehicle from anywhere?
Yeah.
Karen?
Oh, no. Where else was it?
It was the same vehicle, exact same vehicle.
Oh, wait, in Werewolf of London?
It was.
Yeah, where he got in trouble and tried to tell her she can't go driving at night. And she says, I'll go where I want when
I think it's
want.
when they're going to the church and they get out, they're driving to the church in that car.
Oh,
I think that's when it is.
not when she's driving around with the other guy.
I don't know. That's what I thought when I read that it's the same vehicle. Any idea what that vehicle is worth right now, Karen, today? 1933.
Did we do this in Werewolf of London?
I don't think we did, because I didn't recognize the name of the vehicle once I looked it up.
$55,000.
One is for sale right now, Karen, for
100,000.
Is that your final answer, Karen?
122,000.
Is that your final answer, Karen?
That's my final answer.
All right. One is for sale right now for
150,000. I'm going with
150,000 what?
Oh, do you think it's euros?
I'm just asking. What?
Probably euros. I'll say dollars.
One is for sale right now in England for 145,000 pounds.
Oh, I went over.
You know how much that is in American money, Karen?
It's probably less. Is the pound worth more? Or is the euro worth more? I don't know.
It's a pound. We're not talking euros. Pounds. Pounds to dollars. How much is it worth in American dollars?
150,000.
$188,765.20.
No.
Can't forget
It must be in really good condition, huh?
Yeah, it is. So yeah, but I was very interested to read it. It was it was owned by an actor, apparently, and they used it in Werewolf of London too. So
it's a cool looking car.
It is. Next, we're at Scotland Yard, Karen, and we learn that Jeffrey is a former student of Van Helsing. Van Helsing wants Jeffrey to defend him and prove that he is sane. So we learn that Jeffrey is a psychiatrist, and he eventually agrees to help Van Helsing. Next,
Jeffrey says he has a scientific mind, not one with superstition. And they are all, again, restate that the jury's not going to buy this story, but he says he'll help him. Yeah.
Next, we're at a dinner party, and Jeffrey admires a painting on the wall. And the hostess, who was played by Hedda Hopper, I believe.
Really?
The American gossip columnist.
Yes.
I think that's who played the hostess of the party. But she says it's some lady from
Hungary
who just arrived in England, and she's a delight or some shit.
She's charming.
Yes. Yeah, charming.
And right on cue,
Marya enters.
Yes.
And this is where I learned how to pronounce her name, because the butler says it.
She's announced, yes.
And she painted a painting, we learn, and the host offers Marya wine.
Well, wait. So before you throw that famous line in there, Jeffrey does stare when she comes in, and Hedda Hopper says to Marya that her guests are dying to meet her. So I thought that was kind of funny. But she does offer her wine.
And she says she never drinks wine.
Yeah.
There's a dramatic.
That's in Dracula also, right?
Pause there, Karen.
He says that.
And here I made a note that Janet has a nice party dress.
Even I didn't make a note of that.
Oh, wow. Yeah,
they're all
very nice party dress.
They're all dressed up nicely. There's a lot of backless dresses in this movie.
Yeah.
You know, because a lot of the times the women turn from the camera and they're backless dresses. They're nice.
Yes.
The fashion's really nice in this movie.
Did you notice any shoes, Karen?
No, they wore a lot of gowns. So you don't always see the shoes.
Long gowns, party dresses, no shoes. So at the party, they all talk about Van Helsing and Dracula as they all sip their tea, Karen. I assume it's what it is. They're in teacups. Probably not what I'd put in my teacups.
You might infuse something different.
I might. But Jeffrey talks about psychology and releasing the human mind. And Marya is very interested in what Jeffrey is putting out there.
I think he's talking about saving Van Helsing by helping him release this belief from his mind or something, right?
Yes.
That the reason he can make him
Maybe.
unbelieve it, he thinks.
He's not really a believer at this point that they're vampires and things,
Right.
right?
That's how he feels he has to deal with Van Helsing.
Yes. But Marya is buying what he is selling, Karen.
Yes, she is.
And she says she would like to meet with him and discuss it further some evening.
Just the two of them.
Yes. And here I wrote, I think Jeffrey and Marya have made a love connection, the way they stare at each other at the end of this scene.
They do stare at each other for sure.
But I think she's trying to hypnotize him. Well, I don't know.
No, I don't know.
You don't think so?
No, I think she likes him and she wants him to help her. So I don't think
she or you think he likes her?
He seems to be at least interested.
Yeah, he wants to see where it'll go. Well, let's see where this goes, kind of thing.
Yeah.
So next we see Jeffrey getting ready to go meet Marya. I guess it's the next evening.
In a tux.
But Janet is worried. Well, yeah, it's what you do.
Is it? Okay.
In 1936, yeah, that's what you do. And Jeffrey has trouble tying his tie, Karen. Janet helps him, but she ties it crooked on purpose.
Yeah, she's not happy about this. That's why I couldn't tell exactly what their relationship was. I thought maybe she liked him and he didn't really like her because, again, she looks 30 years younger than him. So I don't know if it was some sort of infatuation or. It's
funny. I read somewhere that she's like his fiance or some shit.
Oh, in the movie she's supposed to be?
Yeah, I don't think that's right. I think it was on Wikipedia.
Well, they are together.
Yeah.
But he kind of treats her like a child. But that doesn't mean it. A lot of women are treated like children in this time during movies. So
I did kind of get that she kind of liked him and was kind of jealous of Marya.
Well, and it's important that he's having trouble with the tie when he arrives at the Countess's apartment.
Next, Jeffrey and Marya's place. And Jeffrey finds it odd that there are no mirrors in Marya's flat. He says he's never seen a woman who has no mirrors in her flat.
Yes, because he is still having trouble with the tie and wants to fix it, but can't. He's looking for a mirror and there isn't one. So
yeah. And then Sandor comes in to say that Jeffrey has a call.
And the Countess recites the vampire lore about mirrors. She just tells him, in Bulgaria, there's folklore that says vampires aren't reflected in mirrors or something. And then he comes in and says, you have a phone call.
And it's Janet doing a crank call.
Yeah, which was so childish. I thought that was ridiculous.
Calling from the zoo saying they have an elephant who is seeing pink men. I thought it was kind of funny. And she did too. She was laughing.
Yeah, I didn't get it. I didn't think it was that funny.
So next, Jeffrey lights a Marlboro, and Marya asks Jeffrey if he believes that the dead can influence the living. And Jeffrey talks about the will to beat addiction. You
got to put it to the test.
Yeah, he references treating alcoholics by having them sit in a room at a table with a bottle of alcohol, but they can't touch it, and they have to sit there and face their demons and will themselves to,
meet
whatever.
The influence and fight it. Mind against darkness.
So Sandor comes in again and tells Jeffrey he has another phone call, and Jeffrey's a little pissed off. He thinks it's another crank call, but it's actually a doctor from St. Mary's Hospital, Karen, and the doctor wants Jeffrey to come visit a woman. So Jeffrey excuses himself from Marya, and he asked her to come see him at 4:00 at the hospital to continue their conversation. And she says, I'm sorry, I cannot do that. and they agree to meet the following night. Next, Marya says she's going to go to the studio and paint that evening, but she will need a model, Karen.
Yes, she does.
Next, we see Sandor, the assistant, in the shadows of the London streets once again, Karen. And he goes up to a woman and offers her money and warmth if she will come and pose for Marya.
Yeah, she's a young girl.
You think she's homeless or something?
Yeah, I think he's picking someone who's obviously in need.
She doesn't look,
No, she didn't look bad to me either, but
she's dressed all right, not rags or anything.
But he's a scary looking dude. Again, I'm just going to say that. And so she resists at first.
He assures her there is no reason to be scared. Blah, blah,
yes,
blah.
which is what everybody says when there's a reason to be scared.
And we learn her name is Lily.
Yeah, but he promises her food, money, and warmth. So she goes. Hey, you're already halfway through the podcast. What do you think? If you like what you hear, can you take a minute and follow us on social media? At Scary Spirits Podcast. We're on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. Thanks so much for listening. Now let's get back to the show.
Yeah, so next we see Lily entering Marya's studio. And they do give her food and drink, wine and finger sandwiches, I think, Karen.
It does look like cucumber sandwiches.
Finger sandwiches. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm not sure they're.
Well, I'm just saying,
cucumber.
like you would have with tea.
And Marya tells Lily that she is doing a study of a young woman's head and shoulders. And she asks Lily if she would mind removing her blouse.
Yes, for a head and shoulders study.
She says no. She's feeling better about the whole thing by now. And so she goes.
The Countess says, finish your wine. It'll warm you up.
Well, first she goes behind the curtain there or the thing and takes off her blouse. And
she still has her slip on.
Yeah, she takes, but she says, I assume you want the shoulder straps off my shoulders. And Marya says, yes. Yes, I do. So she does, and then she hands her a wine and tells her, finish your wine. And then Marya shows Lily her ring.
And Lily resists a little bit. She says she wants to go.
Yeah, she says, please don't come any closer. And then she screams as the camera pans up above. Right?
Mm-hmm.
And next, we see an ambulance taking Lily's body out of it. Right? Cut right to an ambulance. I don't know, taking Lily to the hospital. I don't know.
So we should probably pause here for a second and say this is where I'm assuming this movie was supposed to have lesbian.
This part, I wouldn't even say. Yes, definitely has lesbian undertones.
You think it does? I mean, I didn't really.
I do.
I see. I didn't get it. I mean, it wasn't. I only get it because I read about it first. I wouldn't have thought anything of it. She's just lured a young woman into.
Yeah, she just wants to feed, basically. But
that's what I thought. Like, I didn't take it as lesbian undertones. I took it as she tricked a young woman into coming in to be dinner.
But I had read about the lesbian undertones in the film, and while I was watching that, I'm like, oh yeah, I see what they're talking about. But
I mean, there's lots of staring, but she
does the same thing to men or anything. Yeah,
yes, to Jeffrey and whoever else. So I don't really. I didn't.
It's her modus operandi or whatever.
Yes, right, I didn't really sit back and go, "Whoa, that's." But maybe for the time it was a big deal. I don't know. So
yeah.
If you're looking for the lesbian undertone scenes, that was it.
That was it.
Yep. There might be another one a little bit later, but it's not as overt.
Yeah. I don't think she can help herself. Just she has to feed, right?
Well, yeah, I didn't think it was because she was a woman. I just thought she wanted the blood.
Yes.
But I am naive. So, if anyone wants to educate me, info@scaryspirits.com. Well, within reason, educate me.
So next we see Jeffrey, and he arrives at his office, and Janet hands in her resignation.
Again, apparently. She does it often.
Just then a nurse enters and asks the doctor to see Lily. Jeffrey, after initially accepting Janet's resignation, rips it up and says, "Come along and bring your notebook." So Jeffrey examines Lily. The doctors there think she has amnesia, but Jeffrey says it's not amnesia, it's post-hypnosis. And then the doctors make a note of the puncture wounds, and Jeffrey looks at them, and she has 2 puncture wounds on them. Her jugular, like insect bites, they say. So Jeffrey says, bring her out of the coma, give her adrenaline. And
give her
notify him.
adrenaline to rally her.
Yes. Jeffrey wants to talk to Van Helsing.
He's starting to get it a little bit now. He's starting to get a little inclination that something's going on, possibly vampiric.
Next, Van Helsing tells the commissioner at Scotland Yard that Lily was attacked by a vampire. They begin to think that Dracula is not dead, after all. Van Helsing says that no vampire can survive the stake. And Jeffrey is going to question Lily later when she awakes to find out what happened. And Van Helsing tells Jeffrey to ask the girl where she was. And then they will have their vampire once they know the location. And he says, look for a box filled with the vampire's native soil. And then he tells Jeffrey that vampires cast no reflection.
So he kind of has a little light bulb moment there because he's been in the Countess's apartment.
He goes back and thinks about no mirrors.
They also bring up the previous murder, the guy that had the puncture wounds that they were examining before.
So Janet, we see next, comes to see Jeffrey. And once again, Jeffrey needs help tying his tie.
It's the tie gag.
But he says he doesn't need Janet's help. He asks the nurse to help him. But she's no fucking help at all. So Janet just says, I'll do it. And ties his tie. And he makes sure it's on straight this time. And so he doesn't look silly.
Right. She does it perfectly.
Yeah. But as Janet is leaving, she runs into Marya. And Janet lies and tells Marya that Jeffrey is not there. But then she realizes he is.
Well, because he calls out something from the other room. I don't know what it.
And Marya tells the nurse that she has an appointment with Jeffrey, so they let her in. And Marya tells Jeffrey she is leaving tonight from London forever. There is nothing ahead for her except horror, Karen.
She tries the experiment, the test that he suggested, and she failed.
Miserably.
Yes.
But
she had to obey it. She can't tell him what it is. It's too ghastly.
Jeffrey wants to hypnotize Marya using a device with mirrors. And she says, oh, hell no. We ain't doing that.
Nope.
And she says she wants Jeffrey to go with her when she leaves. And here's where I wrote, I think Jeffrey knows she's a vampire.
He's starting to get,
Karen,
an idea.
The end of page 2, Jeffrey knows she's a vampire.
Yeah. And, she said she wants him to go with her and he says it's impossible. She says she needs him to save her soul and the phone rings.
Next, Jeffrey gets a call saying that Lily is ready to be examined. Apparently she's awake. Jeffrey tells Marya he will be back and he wants her to sit and think about how she will tell him the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, Karen. He tells her she shouldn't think about leaving London just yet. Jeffrey leaves and Marya says to herself, I will leave and you will come with me.
Dun, dun, dun.
Bastard. Oh, you will come. You're going to come. Next, Janet enters and Marya asks her to sit so they can talk. But Janet doesn't like Marya very much, I don't think. So she says, hell no.
Janet has she's a good judge of character.
Well, I think she kind of likes Jeffrey.
You think? Yeah,
she
does. Yeah.
But then Marya's assistant comes in and Marya tells him to take Janet and put her in the car.
Oh, yes. Xander grabs her.
Next, we see Jeffrey examining Lily. Apparently in the other room, right?
Yeah.
Oh, whatever. And he puts her in a trance with his little device with the mirrors and the light and whatever. And Lily talks about the ring in her eyes while she is under hypnosis.
Yeah, she blabs about everything.
Lily tells them about the bookshop in Chelsea. And then she gone. She just dies.
Yeah, she up and dies. Okay, before we go any further, we're going to talk about hypnosis.
Okay.
Do you think you'd be easily hypnotized?
Depends.
I mean, I can't tell you from what I'm going to say whether you could or not, but I do remember my brother at University of Cincinnati, there was a hypnotist. He just came in. I don't even remember what it was for. And my brother went up there, Billy, and the guy was up there and he hypnotized the people up there. And my brother was gone in a skinny second. Like he was all in. And they were like, so the guy made him take off their shoes and use them as binoculars. And you're watching a horse race, you know, and my brother's in 100%, had his shoes up there watching it. And then he put them down and the hypnotist asked, what happened to your binoculars? Where are they? He said, I gave them to a pretty girl. Like he was like 100% all in, but it was hilarious. So I don't think they know why some people are easily hypnotized and some aren't. A lot of it.
Well, you have to be open to it.
Yes, you have to
right?
be. That's the major thing.
So it depends. If I was being hypnotized,
you have to trust the person who is doing it
to help me with something that I would be open to doing it, then it might be.
So, well, yes. So you have to trust the person who's doing it or just be open and trusting in general, which apparently my brother is. But hypnotism, it puts you into
Karen,
a state of.
I am not.
Yes, I know. It puts you into a state of focused concentration during which you're vaguely aware of your surroundings. You just don't care about them. And there are different stages of hypnosis, some deeper
kind
than
of like
others.
Ativan, Karen.
I don't know, maybe. Or alcohol, any of those things. But when you're in any of the stages of hypnosis, your imagination is open to suggestion. So that's why they use it when you're hypnotized, or they also refer to it as hypnotherapy, you know, that you're using, because a lot of people use it for stopping smoking, losing weight, all of those things.
My mother did it for losing weight.
Did it work for her?
It did work for a while, but you kind of have to go back like every.
Yeah, you have to keep, because you don't stay in that state of hypnosis.
It worked for almost a year, I think.
Hypnotism has a seedy reputation, and they said this bad rep can be traced back to one guy, Franz Mesmer, who introduced hypnotism into medicine and got himself kicked out of France for his fraudulent healing practices.
Karen, is that where we get the word mesmerized?
I don't know. Could be. Now that you say that.
I've been mesmerized.
So it does have genuine healing potential, but it's exploited.
Well, helpful.
A lot.
I wouldn't say healing, helpful potential.
A lot of people use it for pain management and it works for them. You're right. Helpful versus healing, but it's been exploited by a lot of people. That's why it doesn't have a great reputation. Hypnosis can work for almost anyone, though some people have an easier time than others. If you're lucky, you'll be one of the few people, about 5 to 10% of the population, who is highly susceptible to hypnotic suggestion.
If you're lucky? Where'd you read this?
They're just saying it's, you know. Okay. Well, if it's beneficial to you and you're lucky and you can be hypnotized, they say there are some people who can have surgery just because they're hypnotized. They're that open to suggestion. It says about 60 to 80% of people are moderately susceptible and the rest are minimally susceptible. Okay. It's kind of interesting.
Thank you, Karen.
You're welcome, Greg.
For that.
So I don't know if I would be susceptible or not. I'm not the most trusting person, so we'll see. We should have someone come in and see if they can do it. But it's not permanent. You don't stay in that state, which is why, like you said, you have to keep going back.
Yeah, and you're not going to do. I've heard that you won't do anything that you're against your morals or anything that you wouldn't. You know what I mean? Be open to doing. You know what I mean? But they can't hypnotize you and tell you to
go murder
kill somebody. Yeah. Unless you're disposed to doing that anyway.
So kind of like Voodoo Woman. Remember when he was suggesting to her to go murder the villagers and she couldn't do it because it's not what she would normally do.
It's not.
Well, I don't want to know. I don't want to know if I'm predisposed to murdering someone. That would be unfortunate to find out under hypnosis.
Okay.
I'm going to go with no, but.
So Lily dies. That's where we were, right?
Not from hypnosis, but yes.
No. But then Jeffrey says he thinks he knows where to find the person responsible, and he storms out of the room and goes right into the room where Marya was, because apparently it's right the next room. But she gone, Karen. She gone. She ain't dead. She gone. She ain't there no more.
And the curtain is flapping in the breeze, so
because
we
the
all
window
know
is open.
Yes, so
And
we all know how they left.
We hear a car drive away.
Yes.
All right. Next, we see Jeffrey at the bookshop because, Lily spilled the beans about the Brooks bookshop in Chelsea. So that's where he is. And he goes to see the owner of the bookshop and asks about a studio run by someone calling herself Countess Zaleska. Bookshop owner says there is a studio on the 3rd floor, but that's not what the lady calls herself. And there are some strange goings-ons up there, Karen.
Weird shit happening up there.
So
I think it's just Xander because he's such a weirdo looking guy, but whatever.
So Jeffrey asks to use the bookshop owner's phone, and he calls the commissioner at Scotland Yard and tells him to come to the address where he is and bring Van Helsing. So Jeffrey goes up to the studio and he rings the bell, but no one answers. He just enters. But Marya greets him and says, "It took you longer than I expected." Marya tells Jeffrey she will do whatever it takes to have him free her from the curse of the Draculas. She tells him that she is Dracula's daughter. Dun, dun, dun. But here's where I made a note. She never blinks through the whole movie.
Oh, really?
Yeah. She keeps her eyes wide open, which is why I think you think her eyelashes are so...
No, they're big. Trust me.
I think it's just the lighting casting shadow, but whatever.
I'm team eyelashes, people.
So Marya asks Jeffrey about Janet. Do you know where Janet is, Jeffrey?
Now she's just taunting him.
Yeah, he says, "Oh, she's at a party or something," and she says, "Well, maybe you should phone and find out." So he does, and of course, they say Janet called earlier to say she was meeting Jeffrey in Chelsea. She would not be there. And Marya leaves as Jeffrey is on the phone. But Jeffrey finds Janet's handbag, Karen. Is that what you call it? A handbag?
It's a small purse, like a clutch almost.
A clutch. But the commissioner and Van Helsing arrive. It didn't take them long to get to Chelsea from London. I don't know how long that takes. I have no idea where either of them are in relation to each other. Do you, Karen?
No.
Jeffrey tells them that Marya is Dracula's daughter. And Jeffrey pleads with the commissioner to send out a general alarm to find Marya and Janet. Next, we have a general alarm broadcast montage, Karen, I wrote.
Yes, we do. Van Helsing also says she's going to go back to her castle in Transylvania. That's where she'll go.
So after the montage, we're back at Scotland Yard. And there's no sign of Marya or Janet. But one of the men says they did see Jeffrey, but he took off in his car. This must be a day later or something.
Well, there was nothing at the flat. They went to look there. Everything's gone. And someone says a plane left an hour ago. So that's where
Karen, a plane left Dover with no lights on an hour ago.
Well, that's
Dover.
The Countess.
With no lights on.
Yeah, that's the Countess.
And just then the commissioner receives a telegram from Jeffrey saying that he has chartered a plane and he is heading to Transylvania.
Yep.
Then we have a montage of spotlights looking for a plane.
And a plane montage.
And a plane flying through the clouds. Yeah. Next, we're in Transylvania, Karen, because that's what it says on the screen, Transylvania.
And there's a wedding.
Yes, a wedding. A wedding.
And they're all in traditional garb. So you also know
Yes.
it's Transylvania that way.
Correct. They're wearing their lederhosen or whatever the hell, drinking lots of beer, as you do. And we hear a wolf howl. Then we cut to the castle, and a casket opens, Karen, and a hand comes out of the casket. Then we cut away from the casket, we cut back, and we see it's Marya. One of the townspeople sees a light in the castle, and they think, oh, hell no.
They freak the fuck out. They are not happy.
Yeah, they say, Dracula, he has returned. They all run back into their houses. Just then, Jeffrey arrives in his coach. But the coach driver doesn't want to go any further, but Jeffrey pays him an extra £5 or some shit
I
to
don't know. He bribes him to take him a little further up the hill.
Bogota Pass, I think. Driver agrees to take him there, but no farther. But that name is familiar to me, maybe from Dracula.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, could be. I'm sure they used it.
Next, we see Marya and Xandor. And she says she wants Jeffrey's life. She wants to trade Janet's life for his. She wants to make Jeffrey a vampire so he will be with her forever, Karen. He will live eternally. And Xandor says, oh, hell no. You promised me that shit, bitch.
Basically, yes. But who would you rather be with? I mean, let's be honest.
He tells Marya that there is death for Jeffrey and her if he comes there.
Right. Death for Jeffrey and destruction of the Countess.
Yeah, he's like some soothsayer or has some, I don't know, whatever.
Well, he brings it in, so, you know.
Next, we see Marya. She stares at Janet because she's laying there in one of her lovely gowns.
Well, has Jeffrey arrived yet?
Not yet.
Okay.
Well, it cuts back and forth. So
yeah,
I can't
so
really
I think
say for sure.
He arrives in the Froggy's Fog,
but
because he's walked from the pass.
Yeah, but Xandor says she won't wait long. And she says, no, not long, as she stares longingly at Janet. More or less. Like she's staring at the steak on the plate, Karen.
Well, that's what I thought. But again, I think this could have lesbian undertones that I've missed. Because she does spend a lot of time staring at her. But, but she looks lovely. So, you know.
She moves in very slowly.
Yes.
Because we cut back and forth quite a bit.
Yes.
And she moves inch by inch closer to Janet. But Jeffrey gets out of his coach and approaches the castle. And Xandor shoots at Jeffrey with a bow and arrow. Jeffrey enters the castle and he has a revolver, Karen, apparently. And he takes a shot at Xandor.
Did you see the huge, amazing spider web that was at the top of the stairs?
Yeah, well, it's the same set from Dracula.
That's the same set. That was it. It was impressive. But yes, okay. Then
it might be a matte painting. You know, I don't know.
Could be,
but it's the same matte painting. If it is,
I mean, it's a huge set of stairs, and the spider web covers the whole top portion. So it looked pretty cool, I thought.
And all the while this is going on, Marya moves closer to Janet, but the sound of the gunfire stops her. The next, Marya confronts Jeffrey. She tells him that Janet is safe, but he is now in her castle, not anywhere that Scotland Yard can help him. And we see Janet in a deep hypnosis.
I think Jeffrey takes a look at her, right?
Yeah.
And she's okay. She's just hypnotized.
And Marya,
hypnotized.
Yes. She's mesmerized.
Yes.
Marya says that she is the only one that can break the spell.
Her pulse is weak, so he is concerned. And you're right. That's what Marya says.
And Marya says that she will trade his life for hers. And she offers Jeffrey eternal life, Karen.
And then Janet can go free.
Jeffrey says he does not believe in her spells and magic. But in the end, he says, okay, fine, whatever. And he agrees to trade his life for hers. Marya shows Jeffrey her ring. And things begin to get fuzzy, as they do every time she shows her ring, Karen.
Yep.
And just then, Xandor comes in and shoots her with a bow and arrow.
He aimed for her, right?
Yeah,
Okay. I couldn't
he's
tell
pissed.
if he tried to shoot Jeffrey or
Yeah,
if
he
he
mad.
Yeah, so he did. He took her out.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was the one supposed to be given eternal life. I don't know
No,
why
I
she
get
can't give
it.
them both.
Yeah, but I
what's
didn't know who he
Whatever.
aimed for.
Just then,
The cops bust in.
Van Helsing and the commissioner arrive, and they shoot Xandor. And they go out on the terrace to find the body of Marya. And Van Helsing explains that the wooden arrow went through her heart and killed her, just as he killed Dracula with the wooden stake. Karen.
So Janet is released. Then Janet wakes up, basically.
Marya, she gone.
Yes.
Then we have credits. The end, Karen.
Yeah, that's Xander. You can't trust anybody.
All right, Karen. Anything you pleasantly surprised by or really enjoyed in this film?
I really liked her. I liked the Countess.
She had pretty eyes. I imagine, if I was casting this film, I would have each actress come in with that black cape and hood and veil on and just look at their eyes, right? That's what I would do.
Seems like that's what someone did. Yeah.
She'd have pretty eyes.
I thought she was good. I empathized with her. She wanted to break the curse and she was kind of trying to do the right thing. And you kind of felt for her that she didn't want to be the vampire anymore. And I wonder if that's what Anne Rice in her novel, Lewis doesn't want to be a vampire. I wonder if that's kind of what she gleaned from it. I don't know, but I like the main character.
Yeah, I liked her.
I mean,
Janet.
The sets were still cool. The staircase and everything.
Same sets, I think. And I believe some of them were reused from Werewolf of London.
So I like those.
Yeah, so Werewolf of London was 1935. So it makes sense. Like this is 36. And I read that they kind of rushed this one through. They had to make it, basically they bought the rights, but the rights reverted to MGM if they didn't make a film by a certain date. So they had to rush this one through to get the rights to it. So I can see where they would use the same sets as Werewolf of London.
Well, and they're
around the same
they're
time.
Perfect for they didn't look out of place. It didn't look
Streets
inappropriate.
of London, Streets of London, or Streets of London, no matter
in
what
the
film
30s.
it's in.
Well, in the 30s. So, I thought that was fine. I like the sets.
Not quite the grandiose Universal sets of, Dracula or whatever, but they're fine, right?
Yeah.
Anything else you were enjoyed or?
It's a vampire film, so
Was
I'm glad I
pleased.
saw it.
Didn't see any fangs. No fangs, no blood.
Well, that's disappointing. It felt a little slow too. It was slow, and then all of a sudden at the end, bam, 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 everything's done. A lot of their movies seem to end that way. They draw them out a little bit, and then all the actions happens in the last 5 minutes. It always feels so abrupt to me.
The ending feels rushed to me.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to say. It just all of a sudden everything happens and it's over. It's like, okay, but otherwise it was pretty much what I expected it to be. I mean, I know like we've talked too much about probably the lesbian undertones. I didn't get it. So, but that's not my wheelhouse. So maybe I just miss it because of that. I don't know,
Not your wheelhouse.
No.
Well, the only reason I got it is because I'd read about it prior, right? That it's like a thing. This movie is.
Yeah, I think maybe I just approach it too much from the vampire point of view. Like you said, she's staring at it like it's a big steak. That's her dinner. Because you're thinking about it from the vampire perspective. But someone who doesn't know so much about vampires and went to this movie might get a different feel from it.
We didn't talk about it, but I did like when Lily was warming herself by the fire and Marya says, "Your hands are so white and lack blood."
Yeah. Get some blood in there, warm up.
Yeah, it was fine. I mean, I would prefer to see some fangs and some blood. And
It was fine.
I think I would have liked Marya better if she blinked. I don't know what that's all about. Her eyes were wide open the whole time, like she was consciously holding them open. Didn't look natural.
Well, she's not natural. Maybe it was a technique or something. I don't know.
But everyone else I thought was fine. Jeffrey, I don't know. Couldn't find a better looking.
I didn't find him appealing.
Yeah.
But I think part of that was the writing. There was a lot of just stupid jokes and he seemed older. He was fine. Everybody was fine.
I did keep waiting for him and Janet to hook up, which I don't know.
I think they kind of imply at the end that they do.
Yeah, but not really.
Not enough for you.
It's not like we see a plane flying away.
Yeah.
Anything else disappointed?
I don't think so. It was fine. I don't think there was anything exceptional.
Not enough lesbianism, Karen?
There was nothing exceptional and nothing terrible about it. It just was fine.
I did enjoy the backless dresses. I mean, it's kind of hot.
That's true. Nice fashion. It's always a plus.
Right. How many cocktails, Karen, did it take you to get through this 1936 Universal film?
See, I don't want to imply it's bad, but what did we give?
It's not bad.
What did we give Dracula? Give that 3 or 2?
We gave The Wolfman 3. We gave Werewolf of London 2.
2, because that one was good.
That was really good.
I think we gave Creature from the Black Lagoon 2, but we might have given Dracula 3.
Creature from the Black Lagoon, we gave 2.
I mean, do you think it's as good as The Wolfman?
I don't think it is.
Yeah, so I think it has to get a 4. It's not bad though.
I would give it 3.5, but we can't.
I know we can't. I think because I think compared to the other ones.
Okay, we'll give it 4.
Not because it's bad. It's definitely not bad. It's just
we haven't given a lot of 4s. We've given lots of 3s, but not 4s.
It could be a 3, easily a 3, but it also could be a 4.
It's
only
a 4.
because
if it's a 3.5, it's a 4.
It's not as interesting. They didn't do anything. Yeah.
It's not as good as The Wolfman.
No.
Not quite.
Yeah, it's a
3.5. Wolfman is better, just special effects alone, I think.
It's a 3.5, but we'll have to give it a 4.
We're giving it a 4.
It's just
It's all right. It feels.
I'd watch it again. It
was rushed, and you can tell it was rushed.
Yeah, I agree.
Then this movie went through lots of different directors and lots of different writers, and they were under the gun. They needed to get it done. I mean, it wasn't bad. I mean, it was okay. I do kind of like how it left off right where Dracula did. Could have,
Yeah,
they didn't have a continuity person on staff to like.
True, but
say no, Renfield's body should be over here. Or did they just think, oh, no one's going to fucking notice? Who cares?
But that's an intriguing.
But it does explain why Van Helsing stayed at the end of Dracula.
Yeah, and it's an interesting way to start the movie.
Sequel, Karen.
Yes, it's an interesting way to start the movie. That part was unique, and something that wasn't done often. And it gave a good way for Van Helsing to explain what happened. So you didn't have to see the first movie. And you're right, there were details and plot holes and things, but you did get a sense, you had that, at least he was continuous through the movies. But he didn't really play that big a role. And
well, Karen, he's an old man.
He killed
Dracula, you can't work every day.
True.
All right. Comments on the excellent Eyelashes drink. What do you think?
I like it. I think it's good.
I like it. It's better. The more it sits, the better it gets, I think.
I agree.
Partly because the ice melts and stir it around.
We should say this one is a bit pricey.
It's not so bourbon forward. Yeah. What do you think this drink cost? $50?
A couple of those ingredients were very expensive.
Yeah. If you owned a restaurant and were selling this drink, what would you charge for it, Karen?
I don't know.
Considering, a bottle of maraschino liqueur is $41 and a bottle of ginger liqueur is what? 30 something?
33. And we only used a half an ounce. So it's a pricey drink.
If you're going to make a lot of them, you might make your money back, I guess. But
I don't really taste the maraschino. I don't know.
I kind of get it.
A little bit later, not at
end.
first. Yeah, not at first.
It's bourbon forward, but I get the ginger and maraschino at the end, I think.
So be aware if you're going to make this one, you're going to invest.
Find a friend, split the ingredients.
Yes.
That's good. I mean, I like it.
I think it's one of the better ones. I agree.
I'm not sure it's one of the better ones, but it's good.
Well, I like it. I guess I like ginger.
Well, it's still bourbon forward.
Yeah, I would reduce the ginger bourbon a little bit.
The ginger comes in quick after the bourbon. You get bourbon, then ginger immediately. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I agree.
All right, Karen, anything we learned today?
How much blood do you have to lose to not make it?
40%, Karen.
That's right.
40 or more. Anything else we learned?
A little bit about hypnosis. Yeah. And mesmerizing.
Yeah, mesmerized. Learned about the 1933 Alvis SP20. And it was the exact same vehicle used in Werewolf of London. Anything else?
What did you talk about at the beginning?
Based on a work by Bram Stoker.
Oh, yeah, the chapter thing.
A chapter deleted from the original Dracula, but released later as a short story called Dracula's Guest.
Yes, so we learned that, yes.
Yeah. But it really has nothing to do with the story, but that's what they say it's based on. The original writing was based on that, but it went through so many revisions that at this point, it bears no resemblance to it. So not important, probably. Anything else we learned today, Karen?
No, I think that's probably it.
Okay.
That I notice eyelashes, you don't. Don't roll your eyes at me.
There was one point where I thought her eyelashes changed, like they put false eyelashes on her. But the rest of the time, I thought it was just because she was keeping her eyes wide open.
No, it's not. But
are you saying I'm wrong, Karen?
I'm saying we have a different opinion.
Okay. All right. Are we ready to move on to next week's film?
Yes, which is your choice. Greg, what do you got?
Is it my choice?
Woohoo, it's your choice.
God. So unprepared. All right, Karen. The film we are going to watch next week is from 1932.
Oh.
Also starring Bela Lugosi, interestingly enough. It is called Murders in the Rue Morgue.
Okay. Is it New Orleans? Okay.
We'll find out.
Or Paris?
Yeah, it is Paris, actually. Yes, it's Paris. Okay. I do know that. There have been several versions of this, and I've seen a later one. I haven't seen the 31 or the 32 version.
Okay. Is there a reason you picked it?
Well, Karen, tomorrow, Karen, is Carl Laemmle's Jr.'s birthday.
Okay.
He was the head of Universal, so he had a lot to do with the movie we just watched.
Mm-hmm.
And he produced. He didn't have any credits. Like the poster says, Carl Laemmle, presents, but just because he's the head of Universal at the time, right?
Oh, interesting.
But in the next film, Murders in the Rue Morgue, he does produce it. He is listed as a producer.
Okay.
And as I said, his birthday is tomorrow, April 28th.
So we're sandwiching him in with two Universal films. Okay. Do you have a drink?
I do, Karen.
Oh, do tell. What do you got?
The drink I have is called the Bloody Monkey cocktail.
Oh, no. Really?
Yes, Karen.
Is there a monkey in this?
The Bloody Monkey. Well, we'll have to watch and see, won't we?
So we just hope for a monkey? Why don't you just have a bare breast?
I've seen a version
drink
of this before,
Oh, okay.
so I kind of know what happens.
All right.
It's based on a story by Edgar Allan Poe.
Oh, okay.
Okay. And there's been several movies made about it. But this is, I think, one of, if not the earliest. Right. There might be a silent version. I don't know. But it's the Bloody Monkey cocktail.
All right. What am I going to need?
Oh, I'm glad you asked, Karen. You're going to need grenadine,
Okay.
vodka, ginger ale, sour apple pucker schnapps or apple schnapps,
Mm-hmm.
and 7-Up or Sprite.
Oh, ginger ale and Sprite?
Yep.
I think we have 7-Up. I'll have to go save one.
Yep.
Now, that sounds interesting.
The Bloody Monkey. I imagine the bloody comes from the grenadine.
I hope so. All right. Well,
Yes.
I look forward to that.
Murders in the Rue Morgue.
It'll be a lot cheaper than this drink.
Yes, I think I picked everything we already have, or I already have. I don't know about you, but I already have all that shit. And I found this drink on cocktailbuilder.com.
All right. Sounds good.
All right. Anyone you need to thank this episode, Karen?
I'm going to thank Toga Al. You know who you are. I just want to say thank you for commenting on our social media platforms. We appreciate that. And of course, all our listeners. Thanks for spending time with us. What about you?
Well, Karen, I need to once again thank Verse 13 for providing all the music in the Scary Spirits podcast.
Music definitely makes the podcast better.
It does, Karen. Anything else, Karen?
Yes, Greg.
What, Karen?
Please drink responsibly.
Yes.
Thanks so much for listening. Want to keep in touch? Check out our website, scaryspirits.com. Follow us on Facebook and Instagram at Scary Spirits Podcast. Find us on YouTube at Scary Spirits Podcast. If you have questions or comments, you can email us at info@scaryspirits.com. To help us grow the podcast, you can leave us a review on Apple Podcasts. You know, we really do appreciate your support. And as always, please drink responsibly.